We are living in strange times, my friends. How often have you heard that in recent years? Well, our local real estate market is falling into that same category of late. Anecdotally, things are pretty active out there. Open house traffic is healthy, first time homebuyers appear to be coming back, but the stats, well, they paint a different picture. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining me for the February 2026 edition of our Greater Vancouver Market Update. We pride ourselves on sharing an honest, noble assessment of the real estate market in these videos. So if you find this content valuable, please give us a like, drop a comment down below, and be sure to subscribe to this channel so that you don't miss out on any future episodes. All right, let's get into those not so stellar stats from last month, starting with the sales figures, which registered at just 1,107 total transactions. Woof! That works out to a 28% drop from the previous month. But in a vacuum, that number doesn't mean much, of course. Real estate is extremely seasonal, and it's important to compare this to what we saw last January. And when we do that, the January 2026 sales total was nearly 29% below the figure that was recorded the previous year. And let me tell you, January 2025 was not exactly a stellar month. In fact, when we look at the 10-year average for the month, January 2026 was nearly 31% below what we are used to seeing at this time of year. Listings, however, crept up to a total of 12,628, which represents a 10.7% increase from December. This should not be surprising in any way, as many people take their homes off the market for the holidays and want to resume their efforts as soon as life gets back to a more manageable routine. So, with sales dropping and listings rising, our months of inventory, which is another way of looking at our absorption rate, jumped from 7.4 MOI in December to a whopping 11.2 last month. Just to put this in perspective, a seller's market is generally anything under 4 months of inventory. A balanced market is considered between 4 to 6 MOI, and a buyer's market is anything above 6. So at 11.2 MOI, conditions are prime for buyers right now. And another way to look at this for sellers is there was only one sale for every 11.2 listings last month. So if you were on the market and you were wondering why you couldn't sell, this should really explain just how difficult it was to cut through the competition in January. As a result, prices continued to inch down, this time by 1.2% from December, with the Real Estate Board's home price index coming in at 1,101,900. And the visual of this recent downward trend does not look great. Since the most recent peak in March of last year, overall prices are down, according to the board, 7%. That's $70,000 on $1 million property, so not exactly chump change. And if we were to draw a line from the January data point on this graph, you would see that prices are now back to the same level they were in September of 2021. But as I said off the top, times are strange. Despite the sales figures we saw last month, the market is surprisingly active. There's good traffic at open houses. We had 27 groups through one of our new listings a couple of weeks ago, and a colleague had over 50 groups through his just last week. However, in a seller's market, we would likely see 5 to 10 offers with a turnout like that. Well, not these days. In the case of the property with 50 groups, they ended up getting just 2 offers on their offer date. On our listing that had 27 groups through, we ended up getting multiple offers as well, but both of them came a day apart and a week and a half after those initial open houses. We've also seen an uptick in first-time homebuyer activity. Several of the mortgage brokers that I talk to on a regular basis have corroborated this as well. They've all told me that they've seen a noticeable increase in pre-approval applications. So, Buyers are coming out of the woodwork, but they're just not as exuberant as we've seen in the past. Will that change come the spring? We're going to find out in about the next 60 to 90 days. All right, that's it for me for this month. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you right back here in about a month's time. Take care, everyone.